back off while you're recording.
Did you start recording as that?
Yes.
Lovely.
I spotted it happening.
I'm Gloop,
And I'm Kay,
and this is the Sweet Aisle.
where even the simple task of choosing sweets takes an hour and multiple tangents.
All while our poor friend is telling us,
Just pick something!
so let's see where our brains take us this time.
What were you talking about earlier?
We were talking about shit, I think.
We were talking about needing to be distracted from something to actually do the thing.
Actually, I have something about shit that I could relate to this.
Oh,
I
okay.
was watching earlier about washing eggs.
Okay.
And it's because the way America produce eggs, often because it's very cramped, very tight,
Yes.
it's covered in bird crap.
I mean, that makes sense.
And that encourages salmonella to form.
Well, yeah.
And so, therefore, they wash their eggs.
that makes sense.
However, in the UK, since, the late 90s, there was I can't remember what the pandemic, pandemic with birds. It wasn't a bird flu. It was something that resulted in UK chickens basically being vaccinated.
Yeah.
So, therefore,
Well, I think it's not just chickens. I think it's all sort of farm.
yeah. And before we have any pedantic people, yes, I know they're hens.
A hen is just a gendered term for a chicken.
But then again, it's the whole point of a cow is not a cow on the table, it is beef.
Yes.
A lamb is a lamb on the table, it is a sheep in the field. So that's kind of where this whole thing comes from, is a hen in the field is a chicken on the table.
But the species is chicken. If you don't know the sex, you call it a chicken. It's only...
I know, it's something my parents drilled into me when I was younger.
But it might not be correct. Okay, in this case, we're talking about laying eggs.
But yeah, but apparently the UK passed legislation to vaccinate the farm animals, basically.
Yeah.
Also, the fact, typically in the UK, our hens are basically loose in the field.
Yes. We have a lot more free range.
Yeah, they can be in a barn, but they have a whole barn and they can run around. They're
Yeah.
not tiny little
Confined.
cramped.
We don't tend to do a lot of battery farming.
No. And because of that, therefore, we also have legislation on the food we give them.
Yes.
So it basically, kind of like how fibre cleans your colon.
Yeah.
It's very similar in that when the egg comes out, it comes out clean. And there is a fly in front of my eye. Go away.
Yeah.
So, therefore, the, I can't remember what the coating is, cuticle? I think
Kerosene? Kerosene?
I think it's something like that.
No, kerosene is an oil. I think it's creatine.
It's something of like that. I think it's. I remember cuticle being mentioned. I can't remember why.
It's the same thing your nails are made of.
Yeah, I thought that was hair, which is what you said a minute ago.
Creatine. Keratin?
Something like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of words that sound
Yes.
very similar in that little space.
Yes, and therefore, because of that, the eggs in America, because they damaged that coating, need refrigerating.
Yes, you shouldn't really refrigerate eggs over here because it actually encourages the water inside the egg to separate from the egg and actually causes them to go off faster.
Okay. Yeah, because I kind of, I say knew that, but I kind
Yeah.
of do and I don't. It's a lot of mixed sources and it's who do you listen to?
I am going off personal experience.
Yeah, often it is that case, but I've never had a
You've never...
refrigerated egg.
Ah,
I've never had that growing up. I've never had it in my life. I mean, I may have been served a refrigerated egg, but I'm unaware. Let's put it that way.
enough.
Well, let's put it this way. I did go to America when I was 10, so...
I also think that eggs cook better from room temperature.
Yes. It's like how they do instant coffee. They basically brew the coffee, put it in a tray, put it through a freezer, and it freezes it.
Yeah.
And then basically if they then brought it back up to normal temperature, normally,
Yeah.
it turns back into coffee.
Well, yeah.
So instead they put it through a vacuum, which removes the atmosphere, and all the water evaporates out.
Oh, so they
So
freeze dry
it misses, yes, that's the word. So it misses the the liquid state.
Yes, and it just stays solid.
And I think that's similar to what with the ambient.
It's more similar to, if you put water on a hot plate, it'll
the
dance about.
Leidenfrost effect.
I think so. I can't remember the name of the principle at work.
Yeah.
But it's that because the temperature difference is so vast, it almost creates like a layer of air
Yeah, it
between
kind
the
of,
two things.
Yeah, it's like a little
that-
cushion because it evaporates so quick. It creates a little pocket of steam and it goes.
Yeah.
I think that might be close to what I was on about, but yeah. Because you then don't have the. Also, you spend less energy cooking an ambient egg because you don't have to bring it from cold to hot.
Yes, 100%.
So therefore, it cooks better as well. Mm-hmm. You'll get an even cook.
Yes.
I just thought with baking in America, then does that mean you have to let because baking likes room temperature things?
Depends. But
Well, if you're mixing like eggs, flour,
as I said, it depends.
yeah, milk you put in cold. I know that, but it's like typically.
It very much depends what you're making. Like if you're making a pastry, no, you want things to be cold because you don't want the gluten in the flour to fully activate.
But do you use egg in pastry? I don't bake.
Some of them you do, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Not a lot. I think choux pastry has eggs in it, for example.
Oh yeah, and you cook that to become a paste or something, and then you put it in the oven and it puffs out and steams.
Kind of.
Yeah.
I've never made choux pastry myself. I
Yeah.
have made puff pastry.
Yeah.
That is a pain in the butt.
I mean, I watch Great British Bake Off, but at the same time, I absorb no info. I just go, hey, that's funny.
Yeah.
Because one of this year's contestants, I absolutely love her in the respect that she's deaf.
Yeah.
She can speak, and it does sound normal to me.
Yeah.
It's not how you get it stereotyped in like typical TV, which is just horrible. Anyway, she's got an implant in her
Cochlear implant.
Yeah, on her right ear.
Yeah.
And she literally got so nervous meeting Paul Hollywood that she missigned and called, I can't remember what it was, I want to say Lovable Cutie or something like that, instead of Paul. So it kind of got fingers
jumbled.
Yeah. So I remember those moments. I don't remember the baking.
The
It's like,
sign language equivalent of stuttering.
yeah, and then making up a completely new term for Paul Hollywood. It's often kind of, he's got this reputation of just looking stern and kind of
Yes.
like, yeah, he's got a kind of a fun, lovable side, but at the same time,
Very much so.
It
It doesn't show up in the Bake Off series very much, though. Or it
Oh, this
certainly didn't
series,
used to.
though, this series has actually gotten a lot better with Paul Hollywood.
Excellent.
They're showing a lot more of the innuendo, and it's the fact that Prue is literally kind of giving him a playful slap on the shoulder, going, "Shut up, boys."
Oh, I saw a clip
Yeah.
from Bake Off earlier that had me in fits with, I think it was Prue. But it was like, oh, I need 2 holes so I can get a good squirt, and comments like that.
My favourite one was from episode 1, which was, "So, tell me about your beaver." And Prue was like, instantly realised what they said. Everybody kind of corpse took a step back. You kind of like saw the reset, but they didn't edit that out. You saw them all take a step back, corpse fall about themselves. You
Yeah.
saw the reactions of all the customers, contestants.
I mean, kind of the same thing.
Could call them subjects, because it is torture to some respect. It's like, why would you put yourself in a victims? That's a better word. Why would you put yourself in a 40 degree tent, UK that is, and
Well,
bake?
centigrade. And I wouldn't.
It just, and also on that day they have to do chocolate, like temper chocolate. It's like, you are.
That's cruel.
It's like, come
Trying
on.
to temper chocolate in those kind of temperatures
It's
would
like the
be
producers
a
know.
nightmare.
They know which weeks they're doing things. They know which weeks they're being recorded.
Yeah.
Because they're recorded over a weekend. Mm-hmm. So they must know that time of year becomes the hottest day territory. Let's put chocolate on this week. They're evil.
That is genuinely cruel.
It is. And then the following week it was slightly cooler, but they had to make jellies.
Oh, so slightly cooler.
Slightly cooler. It was only like 2 or 3 difference, apparently.
Uh,
But you had to make jellies, and they don't set in heat.
no. I'm guessing the fridges and freezers got a lot of use those 2
Oh,
weeks.
yeah. And also with them constantly opening and closing doors, they were not setting.
No, I bet they weren't.
Because they were going, "Are you ready yet?" Nope.
Nope.
Close the door. You're letting the cold air out. Just leave it shut. Because that is one thing that does bug me on things like Bake Off. You want the oven hot. So they open the door, casually go up to their counter, put the things in. It's like, I've got 10 minutes, and they just casually put it. It's like, you're letting all the heat out. It's going to cook slower.
Yeah.
Not
I
speed
think
up because it's dangerous.
they're tripping over themselves
Yeah.
in their head in that sort of situation.
And then they go, are you ready? And peep the door open. You're like, no,
no,
you're letting
you've
the
just
heat
let the heat out.
It's like, no.
All that steam to help the thing rise, gone.
Yeah. Bye-bye. It's like, I kind of not wave to it, but it's like, I kind of give it a kind of, see ya, look on the TV screen, bye, Steam. But yeah, it's like, this won't work on audio, but I memorized the sign for marshmallow biscuit.
Okay.
So I already knew biscuit, but marshmallows, you take your 3 middle fingers, so index, middle, ring.
Does it matter which hand? Because
Not
sometimes it
necess-
does, sometimes...
I'm not entirely sure, but I usually go right onto left. So if I'm if I'm letter signing, like A, B, C. So for example, you put your thumb
B.
to your index, that's A.
Yeah.
Thumb to your middle, middle, that's E. Thumb to ring, that's I. So
No, dude, it's
so that's
index to A-E-I-O-U, thumb.
But you can do it with one hand, and if you do it one-handed, it's the same.
That
You can do
How?
single hand.
Because that you've only got 4...
That's just the vowels. So the vowels are literally pinching two of your fingers to, like, one of your fingers to
Yes,
your thumb.
but there are 5 vowels and
I
only
think-
4 combinations of... How does that
I
work?
think A is A a double? Let me try and remember. I think A is literally just making a circle, like A.
So
It's like, but without putting your fingers up to make it okay.
oh,
So you have your fingers closed.
That's A,
I
that's
believe so.
E.
I did this back when I was like 16,
Surely it would
where
make
I
more-
did one hand signing.
I've never learned one-handed. I've always done...
Yeah, so Makaton is a little bit of the two when you do single things, and it's typically the right hand into the left hand.
Okay.
So if you're doing M, so
It's-
that's 3 prongs down, that's 3 fingers in the palm.
Yeah.
N is 2 fingers in
Yes,
the palm.
I know the
Yeah.
alphabet.
So they kind of did marshmallow. So marshmallow was double tap of the 3 fingers.
Yeah.
So marshmallow,
Yeah.
and then biscuit is basically tapping the bottom of your elbow.
So they go...
Marshmallow biscuit. And it's just kind of a good rhythm.
Yeah, it's
So
actually
if you-
kind of
It's kind of almost...
satisfying.
It's like the Cup song. Like
Kind
with
of. Yeah, just these...
It's kind of... Yeah. It's kind of like rhythmic. And I kind of just remembered it. It's like if you take your... This is for... I do it this way. If you take your right hand and kind of like make it so... You know, Thing from the Addams Family, the
Yes,
little hand.
the
So it stands on the tips of its fingers.
Yeah.
So if you
should
take,
not do that.
so basically, no. So if you do
this.
that, so if you were to basically do Thing from the Addams Family and put it on the back of your other hand, that's cake.
Yes, I knew that one.
Yeah. So I've seen that a lot. I kind of wish I could see the person that signs for... I can't remember her name. I did have it in my head a few moments ago. Anyway, I wish that we could see more of them signing because I would love them to see, love to see how you do some innuendos in sign language because that to me sounds hilarious because you see their reaction and they're falling about themselves in fits.
Yes.
But it's like, can I see the sign person, please?
My favourite thing with sign language is there are some innuendos that are only innuendos in sign language.
Because there's not a lot in Makaton. I don't know how true it is in American or ASL, which is the body also embodies the tone.
Yes, I believe that's true in most forms of sign language.
Yeah, I just
but-
don't. I've never really seen ASL, so it's like if it's jovial and funny. You kind of stick your tummy out, shoulders back.
Yeah, like
as
you're
if you were leaning back
laughing.
running your tummy, ha 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 ha.
Yeah,
But instead, you kind of do that action and do the signing.
yeah. So
And then anger is kind of like you bring your shoulders in.
yeah, it's very.
Yeah. And then I was like, this is actually really quite cool.
There's other things as well, like the way you move your hands. Like obviously,
Yeah.
if you're angry, you're gonna have quicker, sharper
Yeah,
movements.
unfortunately, I will struggle with that these days because, like I said, I was trying to learn this when I was 16, and then my hands became what they are now.
Yeah.
So I have very...
The quicker, sharper movements just kind of happens naturally because you're angry, so you're not...
Yeah, it's kind of like...
It's hard.
yeah.
I'm not good at explaining this, but you get what I'm going for.
I get what you're going for. That's kind of the main... No, it's not.
No, it's really not.
It's really not the main thing.
The people listening to this understanding it is the main thing, and I don't know if they will.
No, it's because I tried to do sign language when I was 16, but annoyingly my hands became... Well, simply put, my tendons in my hand are shot.
Yep.
So if I was in my right hand, if I was to say give you the finger, I cannot extend my finger up.
No.
So it stays basically like a clenched fist.
Yes.
So
sometimes you can get a little bit of a...
Yeah, sometimes if I really try and put the effort in, but I've got to put my arm in such a weird angle. So I've got to stick my elbow up. So the tendons kind of relax so I can do it. So I can kind of do it upside down, but it looks like I'm pointing behind me
with you
rather than giving you the bird.
Could you do that and then move to?
No.
No.
Because the muscles change shape. So
I figured that would be the case, but I was curious.
Yeah, well, now you know.
Yes.
So it's like I want to try and do it, but I learned like one-handed signing with my right hand. So I learned all the actions with my right hand. I can't do them with my left because it breaks my brain trying to mirror my actions.
Yeah.
Because I have to mirror. So the cognitive function is like, what the?
It's
just,
like,
yeah. So my brain's going, do this, and finger misses finger, so I make a completely different thing, and I have no idea what that is. This is not working on audio.
Isn't that like a W?
It's making a W, but what are my thumb and little finger doing?
Hugging your palm?
It's kind of like, also my thumb's kind of going into cramp.
Yeah, it does. Like,
so, yeah.
Yeah, that is what you are doing.
But if I try and do it straight on, I can't. My hand then goes 45 degrees. But if I do it to my is that 90? Yeah, 90 to me. So to my left, it kind of goes upright.
That is easier to do.
But I can't put my hand upright because I kind of got to twist my whole body to do that. This is not working on audio.
No, it's
Why
not.
are we doing this? Sorry.
Because we are very much neurospicy and we got distracted.
Yes. By the way, I like to say I suffer from something called ADOS, attention deficit, shiny. And if you haven't guessed, thank you. That was that just now.
Yes. I use the phrase neurospicy because I like it.
Yes. I can't believe this morning of all days I've been using ADOS for I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Going on a very long time. And I only realised it's soda backwards today. ADOS is soda backwards.
No, that's not why I'm pulling a face at you.
I've been using it for what, 2-3 years?
Also, how many times have you written that down?
Exactly. That's the neuroness of me. Neuroness?
The spiciness?
Yeah.
That's your spicy.
I thought I misspoke as Uranus then.
That's something completely different.
No.
Yeah.
That's a giant gas thing millions of miles away.
Is Uranus a gas planet? I didn't think it was.
It is. It's after Jupiter.
Producer, can you confirm?
Help us, Lee. Are we being stupid?
Oh, yes, but that's not...
I mean, that's just situation normal.
Because Saturn is the one with rings. That's a gas giant. I'm pretty sure Uranus is a gas.
I thought it was mainly ice.
You're probably thinking Pluto.
No, I know Pluto is mainly ice, but I thought Uranus was...
It's a gaseous ice giant.
Oh, so we're both there. It's gaseous ice. Okay.
Wait, but what? Isn't that contradictory? Because ice is the term for the solid form of water.
Made of water, ammonia, and methane.
Okay.
Oh, I guess it could have ice crystals suspended in the gas. Gas.
It's like they believe it rains diamond, or well, not diamond exactly, but it rains like the...
No, it's diamond. I know what you're... I can't remember the name, but I know I've read what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It literally rains diamond.
Yes.
Because it's under such high pressure.
Yeah, because I'm actually kind of I can't remember if it's launched or not this year. The JUICE mission, which is Jupiter's icy moon exploration or something. Which is kind of exciting to me because they're going to the moon that has ice plumes. Basically, they look like volcanoes. It's like it's erupting water. That's what it looks like. Cool. So and it's one of the icy moons, hence why they're doing this. So and I want to say it starts with an E. Oh no, Jupiter's got a butt ton of moons though.
It does. And the only one I can name off the top of my head is Titan.
Oh, it starts with an X. No, not Exynos. Where did Exynos come from? I don't know. I don't even really know what that word truly means. Exynos. Or is it a company?
I've not heard the term Exynos. I've heard Xenos.
Oh, no, that's what it is. When I first came across the word Xenos, I read it as Exynos.
Which I can understand. Because I made the same mistake.
Phonetic.
Yeah. But it's the most sensible way to read words you don't know.
Yeah, Exynos.
Yes.
It has 95 moons.
Oh, 95 moons. Jeez. 95. I'm way off with 70 odd.
Yeah.
Oh, lordy.
That is a lot of moons. Jupiter, learn to share.
No, I was thinking like Jupiter likes the moon.
Oh God, could you imagine being a werewolf on Jupiter?
Oh, you would not know what the hell's going on.
With 95 moons.
Is your moon Europa?
Europa, yes.
Oh.
Europa. I knew it started with an E. It is EUROPA, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, good. Good. I was not going insane.
Well.
Wow.
No more than usual.
I just wondered is there actually a clinical diagnosis for just generic insanity?
Not sure. I know there's a legal definition.
Yes, and I don't necessarily like that myself, that definition.
It's kind of important
it's the way it's portrayed in TV. That's more what I mean.
Oh yeah, no, that's bollocks,
I don't like their definition of it.
Yeah, no, the way Hollywood portrays
insane is
stupid.
Yeah, we don't live in a white padded cell.
Oh
no, we're insane for other reasons.
Yes, mainly because the world sucks.
Yes.
Well, that was cheerful.
Moments of pause while we contemplated why the world sucks.
Oh, there's a lot of reasons for that. I could name a few: Jeff Bezos, Boris Johnson, Elon Musk.
It's like when I was doing art at GCSE. We had this big folder, made of cardboard that we made ourselves. It's kind of the first thing we did in week 1. And then on the cover of it, I painted, "If you touch you," with a blank line. And a lot of people, of course, think die and things like that. But I had one of the students come up to me, classmates, or I can't remember who exactly. And they went, "If I touch you, will I go to the moon?" I was like, "Try it." And I was literally like, they're the first person that has kind of
been a bit creative with
it. Because I've been thinking, well, not like that, but in that mindset for a while.
Yeah.
Where it's like, the blank does not have to be negative.
No.
The blank can be idiotic.
The blank can be funny.
It can be anything. But most people, I nearly said everyone, but most people focus on the negative and say, you die, you burn your finger off, you have your hand chopped off. It's like, no. If you touch it, I don't know, you might win £1 million on the lottery next week.
If you touch it, you touched it.
Yeah. I wasn't going to do anything to you.
Was that Gloop's first social experiment?
It sounds like it.
You know what?
But before they really understood the concept of a social experiment, but yes.
Yeah, because school is not exactly what?
School is one big social experiment.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was... with school being a social experiment in that respect, is like you don't see it that way. You feel like you're...
Is the social experiment seeing how much pressure you can put teenagers under before they crack?
Yeah. Because,
school is hell.
No, yeah, that's probably why they all focus on the negative, all the time. So was that me testing my, am I not weird, but am I, hang on a minute, I think differently to you, hee hee.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's kind of how it works, I think.
I think it might have been a vetting process of hey, do any of you think like me?
Yeah, you could have said that was one of my favorite... social experiment sounds, manipulative a little bit. But in the same respect, it kind of is, if you are kind of justifying if they are compatible to be your friend.
I don't know if that's necessarily
No.
manipulative. Manipulative is like, hey, I'm going to make you be my friend.
Yeah, that's true.
This is more like a...
It's like a... Yeah, that's
It's very much social experiment,
Yeah.
but in the very much most scientific definition of the term.
It's a vetting process.
Vetting, yes. Vetting. Yeah, you're kind of... It's not protecting yourself. You're kind of like going, right, I don't know you. Right, let's try something. Okay.
We click, or
That's the word.
we do not click.
Yes.
You-
Okay,
you-
and then if they do not, move on.
You know what? I think you're kind of an asshole.
And I just
Go.
got this image now of myself when I was like 14 or 15 going around school, going, hey, ask them a question. Okay, join my line. And then about 5 people in, we start a conga. And then we have this line of other people going, but I want to be part of that conga.
And then eventually more and more people join until
And yeah.
the teachers come along and go, stop it.
And I'd be like, but why?
Uh,
I was one of those.
you were not the only one.
No, I was like, yeah, I got on well at school. I understood a lot of it, but at the same time, I was like, but why am I learning this? It's like, but why do we need to be taught this? Because that's why I gave up history and GCSE. It's like, I don't need to learn about the war.
Yeah, that's kind of why I
Oh,
stopped paying attention in that subject.
I like year 7 through 9 because
Yeah.
you had the Greeks, you had medieval, you
Yeah.
had a bit of Roman.
We didn't have any of that. but-
Really?
No.
Oh wow! I had the Egyptians. I had.
We did
all
have
sorts-
Egyptians. We had Tudor, which I have to say I hated because it was like the 4th time I had gone through it.
Yeah.
Or 3rd. But
And to be honest, I kind of liked and disliked history because I liked the Roman period because they did a whole bunch of stuff.
yeah.
And it's really hard to cover in in one chunk. So every
Yes.
year there was something new added to it.
And I really liked learning about the time between the world wars in Germany. I found that really interesting to learn about.
See, I don't think I covered that.
We covered that in our GCSE.
Oh, I didn't do that. That's probably why.
But then when we got to World War II, again, like, as in for like the 4th time in
Yeah.
my school career, because we'd done it in primary school. I did it in my first secondary
lordy.
school. We'd done it from the perspective of England in year 8.
Oh no.
So and then we were doing
Oh,
it from
that's
the
just
perspective
too
of
much.
Germany in year 11, and it was just like, just end me.
I'm curious now. What do they actually teach in Germany then about the World Wars?
I don't know. We were
it
we were
kind of
learning
like-
about what was going on in Germany in the World
Yeah.
War, but I'd already kind of learned that on my
Yeah.
own because I was interested in it
Yeah.
when I started learning about it from our perspective.
That's true.
'Cause-
Yeah, I wonder if it's not taboo, but more just unmentioned.
yeah, I think they do have a very much we don't talk about it.
Yeah.
I could be completely wrong. I'm not.
Well, maybe if you're from Germany, you can let us know.
Yeah, feel free.
That'd be interesting to find out because I actually intrigued to know.
Now I'm just
But at
thinking
the same
of the
time-
whole QI. Don't mention
the-
the war.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I can't do the QI klaxon. But
No, it's a very specific sound.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just, it's confusing. But yeah, when I was at school, it was very much a mix of everything in that respect. Because I remember doing my year 7 thing all about castles
Yeah.
and learning about guardrobes.
Yeah.
And that's where we get the word for wardrobe now.
Yes.
Because back in the day, the ammonia from basically the hole
Us.
you defecated through,
Yeah.
it created ammonia and it repelled moths. Therefore,
Yes.
moths would not eat their clothes. Therefore, they kept longer. And then when it stopped being used for a toilet, and they turned the G into a W because it sounds more like wear.
Yes.
And then we have the word wardrobe. And the
That-
guardrobe, I can't remember why guardrobe was called guardrobe. It was something
Because it
about...
guards your robes from moths.
Possibly. I don't know. But at the same time, I think it was... There used to be a royal guard outside or something or other because you're at your most vulnerable, so to speak. I think
That would
vague
make a
memories. I was
degree of
like
sense.
10. I was 10. I could have fabricated all of that, but at the same time, it's probably the fantasy of me. I wish that's true.
Whereas, like, I remember learning about the reasons behind crenellations and
Crenellations?
the things at the top of castles where you've got the like squares.
Oh, right.
They're called crenellations.
I probably did get told that, but I forgot.
More than likely.
Yes.
But yes, that's what those are called. They're called crenellations.
To be fair, I probably remember the toilet stuff, though, because I kind of did have a fixation with toilets.
I've always kind of been into architecture, so I
there
remember
we
the
go.
weird architecture stuff.
Fair enough, because my parents used to have a National Trust membership, and we used to get dragged around stately homes and whatnot during the holidays. And after a long drive, the first question I would always be is, where's the
loo?
toilet? And then I think one day I probably went, hey, they had different kinds of toilets kind of thing. And my brain then just went click, 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 click. I went, let's learn about as many toilets as possible. Because
Fair enough.
I knew people on the dairy farm.
Yes.
And
you've
they've
mentioned.
got one, and it's literally called The End.
Oh no.
And that's literally that's what their little outhouse is called, The End.
That's quite amusing.
And it's actually in a book. I've got it on my bookshelf. If I remember one day, I'll mention it again. I'll actually tell you it's proper heritage. But yes, I got a book on toilets.
Cool.
And it's like Crapper, or whatever his name was not the inventor of the flush toilet.
No, John Crapper.
Yeah. Because you could actually argue the Romans invented the flush toilet in the sense of they used to go into a river.
Yeah, that is.
So they would do it beneath kind of not a waterfall, but where water had
there
to
would
come down a
be-
hill, basically.
yeah.
And gravity assists.
Yes.
So you
Yeah.
could argue.
Well,
That's
I
where-
mean,
so-
sort of. It was more
But
where
the-
you would tip out your.
Yeah. But it's kind of like that's where the inspiration came from. But then over the years, it kind of got refined down.
Yeah.
And then Crapper got the.
Crapper invented the flushing toilet as we know and understand it today.
Yes. It's almost like the telephone discussion. Who actually invented the telephone?
Oh, yeah.
Is it Bell or
Alexander Graham Bell or Edison? No.
That's light bulb.
Yeah. Tesla. No, that's still.
That's AC/DC.
Yeah, that's electricity in general. I cannot
Yeah.
remember.
See.
Also, why did he decide we should answer it with hello rather than ahoy?
I don't think that was him.
I thought it was.
No, he came up with ahoy, but he wasn't the one who came up with hello.
Oh.
That was somebody else.
I
and
thought it
took
was
over.
because I actually know a song about it.
It may have been the person he called said hello.
Yeah, possibly.
I don't remember exactly, but I don't believe it was him exactly who came up with the term hello for the phone answering. But I do quite like ahoy.
It would just be such a much more cheery way.
Yeah, I quite like.
Ahoy, friend! How are you?
I quite like the Korean for hello, which is annyeong.
Yeah, yeah.
I quite like that.
I'm
I
not
think
gonna-
it's got haseyo on the end. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But it's
I
like.
do not know.
But I quite like it. And annyeonghaseyo. It sounds very cheerful. It sounds friendly rather than here we go. Hello.
Yeah,
It's-
even
it's
the
like-
German hello.
Yeah, it's got a positive.
The A rather than
intonation to
E
it.
sound. Just
Yeah, is it intonant? The way you say
intonation.
intonation. There we go. So yeah, it's to do with the intonation. We kind of can say our hello in about endless amount of hello. Whereas if you're with the hello, it's
Yeah.
hard to do that. So it naturally feels more positive.
Yes.
And I kind of, I like that.
Me too.
Because
So several people were credited with inventing the telephone and improving it over the years.
it's like the TV. John Logie Baird
Yeah.
didn't invent the TV, but he invented the mechanisms that created the cathode ray tube.
The first
Okay.
name I found was Charles Grafton Page.
Charles Grafton Page. Okay, that's a name I
Don't
do
think
not
I've
know.
heard before.
No.
Passed an electric current through a coil of wire.
Oh, I see.
And I think that was the original beginning, and then in a senso manzetti.
Zenso
so the idea
Manzetti.
Of turning that into a kind of telephone thing.
Ah, okay, I see.
Got you.
There's a lot.
It's very much like how television was then with John Logie Baird.
Thomas Edison was involved at some point.
yeah.
Very much.
because he came up with the idea of shining a light through. I can't remember what it is, but you know that you say you've got a spinning circle. You have a circle on the inside. You have the images,
and by spinning it,
Yeah.
it creates the appearance of animation.
Yeah, John Logie Bear came up with
What are
that.
they called?
And then, or I believe he came up with that, or he came up with the thing where you have a light source, a lens, basically what would be your eye,
Yeah.
and then the image or the item at the other end, and then the rolling shutter kind of thing.
Yeah.
He came up with that concept for television. Then somebody else came along and went, okay, and made the lines where it draws lines.
Yeah.
And then somebody else came along and made the PAL system and the... Oh, gosh, what was the other system? What's our system? Is it PAL in the UK? PAL?
I do
NTSC?
not know. I genuinely don't
I think
know.
they're the two common ones, like basically whether it goes at 50 hertz or 60 hertz.
Oh.
I did a whole...
I thought that was the refresh rate.
It kind of is the refresh rate, because the refresh rate is limited by the amount of electricity you get into the house.
Yes.
Because that's what dictates it. That's why you have between 50 and 60 hertz for
Yes.
these systems, because that's why they say between. Because say you get 55 hertz, that's your refresh rate for your CRT TV.
Yeah.
Because that's how many times on and off
Yeah.
you are getting.
How many times the frame changes a second.
Yes, and it ties in with the on and off of the AC coming into the TV.
Yes.
Or something of that nature. I did a whole term of this at uni.
You did.
And it was... it was not dull, but it was dull in the sense of I was listening to paint dry.
Yeah.
I was really trying to pay attention to these really interesting factoids. But when you have somebody going and talking like this, so you see when this happens, and this happens, you're like, hi, Facebook. You kind of just
start
switch
to
off.
contemplate the pros and cons of lobotomy via chopsticks.
Because there was this one where, there was the one course where he talked about how we work out aspect ratio.
Okay.
So like and it was something to do with the distance from, so the focal point from you is a distance, and then something else like the height and the width, like which you can fit.
Yeah.
I honestly want to remember that because it's
he
quite
was teaching
fascinating.
you the geometry of aspect ratios.
Yes, it was genuinely interesting, but because it was paint dry, I took nothing in.
Yeah.
I remember the pictures that you showed on the slideshow.
Yes, I have this when I'm trying to find tutorials for things. I think I've mentioned this before, but I need tutorials with narration, but the right kind of narration.
I know what you mean.
Because unless it holds my attention, I'll watch them do the thing like 1,000 times and still not understand how it works.
For me, I'm a mixture of all three. I like to see the process.
Yes.
I like to be told the process. I also like the process written in words.
Yes, no, I
And then
completely
I use
agree
all
with that.
three and then stitch the bits. So say the visual bit, like watching the video, doesn't make sense. I then go, okay, let's listen to it. Still doesn't make sense. Let's see it in words. Oh, now it makes sense.
Yeah. Or sometimes diagram.
Yeah, unless you're doing things like electrical diagrams, then good luck.
I
They
don't
are
find electrical diagrams too bad.
Being taught how to read them was a nightmare.
You reckon?
Well, this is from the same person who was telling me about.
Oh, yeah, no, from someone like that it would be.
Yeah.
I learnt them from a very animated science teacher. He was usually a chemistry teacher. He's the one I've told you about that was like on my last day of school resulted in a fire drill because he launched a fireball into a smoke alarm.
Oh, yes. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Oh, I wish I had a teacher like that. Instead, I had quite a lot of, what's the right word? I'd say bored.
Yeah,
That's the best description because they lost their passion.
most of my teachers were like that.
Yeah.
He was an exception and an amazing one.
Yeah, we had an art teacher called Mr. McCullough. Yeah.
Nice. Fair enough.
As you can tell, Irish, and embraced the fact his name was Mr. McCullough.
You've kind of got to if you're going to teach in a secondary school. If there is a chance to mock you, people are going to take it.
And basically, he gave as good as he took.
It's the way to do it.
Yeah, he didn't, it wasn't, malicious or nothing. It was just very tongue-in-cheek, all right, you want this? Go on then. And chucks, I think it was something like getting fed up of a student asking for a certain colour of paint.
Uh-huh.
Eventually they get it, and I think he put it on the windowsill and locked the window. I think.
What?
It was on the ground floor, so it didn't fall. If it would fall, it was only about a metre or two.
Okay.
But I think it was that him or was that actually... No, I think that's a student who did that, but he approved of it.
Fair
I
enough.
think it's like they got fed up with this question being asked, like, where's this colour, where's this colour, where's this colour? So he puts it on the window, locks the window, so it's on the outside, and waits until that person looks for it, sees it on the other side of the window, and then they lose their crap trying to go, how do I open the window? I want this paint. And he just literally went, yeah, kids will be kids.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, vague memory of that. But then again, I could be mixing 4 stories in one and making it even funnier. But hell,
Maybe.
it still sounds good.
Most of my memories from school are really weird, random stuff, like running face first into a tree.
Okay.
I was running around with some friends and started running backwards to talk to them. I turned round
right.
just in time for my face to connect with a tree.
Did they warn you this tree was coming up?
No.
No, of course, naturally. They're probably going, will they notice? No. Ha.
And then I got to go to hospital and then go home early. So,
Nice. I still remember the one lesson, which was I had no warning.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, biology.
Yeah.
We were shown a video. It showed a video of an operation. I saw that, went clunk, passed out
Oh,
instantly.
no.
I woke up, I don't know how much later, and I was like, what the... Because I woke up in a place I had never been in the school. And bearing in mind, it's like year 10, maybe year 9. So I've been there a few years.
Yeah.
And waking up in a strange room
Yeah.
in the dark
No.
because there was bright sunshine glaring in or something, and I was like, what the... Yeah, that was not a fun day.
No.
As soon as I realised I was in the learning supports like little bungalow, because they all operate out of a little bungalow on site, as soon as I worked out I was in there, and I was like, there was a kitchen next door and I could instantly make myself a cup of tea because no one's around, I thought, why not?
So you did.
So I did. And then my support worker comes in and went, enjoyed your nap? And I was just like, what? I was like, what happened? They told me what was on the screen. I would say, but it's just graphic. Let's put it that way. It's an operation, it's graphic.
Yeah, you'll have to tell me when we're not on air, because otherwise I will just sit and wonder.
Well,
That's
like
not
heart
that
surgery
bad.
going on. Sound saying it. And
I've
I'm
seen
remembering
these
it,
things,
and,
dude. It's not that bad.
To me, it is. This is also from year 8.
To be fair, I'm kind of the opposite of squeamish. I'm
mean-
intrigued by these things, so...
So it could be fine for you, but for about
Yeah.
80% of the audience, that might be too much.
Yeah, I did realise after I said it that, hang on,
It's
my
like-
tolerances for these things are not...
Yeah, in year
necessarily the
8,
norm.
we were all asked to gather around the table. I didn't have my support worker with me.
Yeah.
So I was trying to say, no, I don't want to take part in this lesson to the teacher, because they basically brought in a pair of lungs and they were going to dissect.
Yeah.
There and then. And I was like, I don't like, purely, for me, it was the smell.
Oh, no, they smell rank.
And I just couldn't get over the smell. And it was a summer's day.
Ugh.
Yeah, so I was literally trying to tell my teacher, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And eventually they get me to the central table. And I
Yeah.
just put my head in my hands. So I'm staring at the floor. I am not looking at anything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I hear noise and I don't really realise what's going on because I kind of zoned out so much.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't realise people were kind of worried about me because I was unresponsive. But I was aware of what was going on.
To a certain
Yeah,
extent.
because I was just pure panic. Eventually my support worker is found, gets brought in, kind of rouses me out of this stupor.
Yeah.
And I kind of walk out that room and I can't remember what I did, but I just raged.
Yeah.
Proper raged. And I was like, not happy with that teacher. And I got back to my parents, and my parents were literally like, well, you shouldn't have forced him. And it was like, that's kind of not the reaction we were wanting, kind of thing. This is
It's
the
like-
same person. I think it's Miss Claridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the same person who tried to give me a detention because I forgot to give my parent a permission slip. Well, I say forgot.
Yeah, you've
I
explained
didn't-
this to
yeah.
me before.
Yeah, I just didn't like their method of sex ed, and I was 10, and I was kind of going, "What the hell is all of this?" You know what? My parents being told I'm somewhere on the spectrum back then. I'm actually realizing, I can see why they say it now. I've only
You
just
think?
yeah, I've never thought myself as that though.
The fuck are you talking about?
To me, I am me though, so I know me. So for somebody to tell me there's something weird with you, it's like, what are you talking about? I'm just me.
Yeah.
That's kind of been my upbringing.
Whereas I've kind of come at it from the exact opposite angle, where I grew up being told, you're fucking weird. And now I'm realizing I'm not fucking weird. I'm
No.
just me.
No,
Like,
whereas my parents were more embrace it, go nuts. When we used to ride bikes down the road,
uh-huh.
it was basically very simple rules. We had a ship's bell outside our door,
Yep.
and we had one of two things. If we heard that ship's bell, because you could hear it forever.
I am aware.
Yeah, if we heard that ship's bell, or if it got dark, we knew we had to go home.
Yep.
So we had free reign to be idiots.
The street lights are on.
Let's go. Yeah. It's like when the street lights were on and we couldn't hear the cowbell, ship's bell.
Yeah.
We were like, ooh, how far can we push this?
Yeah, that was
And-
a common one.
Yeah, and because we live right in front of a hill, we would be in amongst the trees and the hills and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it would take a bit longer to come down, so you wouldn't panic. But come back with scratches and cuts and things, and
Yeah.
instead of the oh dear, let's tidy you up, it's like a look of right, you've been an idiot.
Yeah.
Get in the shower,
Clean yourself off.
clean, eat, and then we'll sort it out.
Yeah, my
And-
mum was very much the same. It was like, oh, you've scraped your knee. Well, that was silly, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think because of that, I've never had this thing of you're different to other people because literally there was about 4 or 5 houses in our little row,
Yeah.
and we were all roughly the same age, so we were all together, so we were
Yes.
mixed.
Yeah.
We had mixed abilities all through, so I didn't see myself different to anyone else.
Yeah, I had.
So therefore, I don't see myself as
I went
this.
to a very inclusive primary school, so like we had 2 deaf girls in my class. We had me, who was an interesting trial, all in on my own. We had 2 kids with quite severe autism and a girl with Down syndrome,
okay.
but we were just in a class with everybody else, like, or in classes because we weren't all in the same class.
Yeah.
For a couple of lessons, we were pulled out and did our own thing, but
Yeah, I think it's also the fact I went to the Star College,
Star College,
National Star College, basically a college for disabled people,
Ah,
and because at that time I was in my wheelchair,
yeah. that
so
would do it.
I basically I mean they do great work, but they don't necessarily academically. They're not really there for the academic. They just kind of add that on as a bonus.
Yeah,
So you go there for an academic course, but you're really there to get some like rehab or some help or
okay, that makes
it
sense.
kind of makes sense. So I was there, and again, I didn't because I was so like I want to say normal, but that's not the right word. I was the well in my first year, I was in my wheelchair,
Yeah,
and I realised in that I hated it.
what, being in the wheelchair? Or...
Yeah, but because being able to walk for the first 15 years of your life, suddenly not being able to walk.
Yeah, no, I have had genuine nightmares about that.
Yeah,
kind of
I've
thing.
had the novelty of the wheelchair before going to Star College.
Yeah,
Because this is fun, I get priority, I get this. And then I'm suddenly surrounded by wheelchairs, and I realise they are awful drivers. And I was like, I need to get out of my chair so I can dodge some of these people. Because some of the people in the manual chairs, and a lot of the Star College is on a hill.
Oh no.
So they let gravity take over.
Yeah, you
They're
would.
lunatics. I mean, I did it 1 or 2 times. It was awesome.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I had the benefit of being able to walk. I knew the other side of it. Seeing a chair coming at you about 10, 15, maybe 20 mile an hour.
Mildly
Hardly,
terrifying.
and they kind of go, whoa, like arms slightly, like a good, like 10 centimeters away from the wheels. And they're not exactly going to break and stop instantly. Because, I mean, if you're not wearing your seatbelt, you'll launch yourself.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Although that could be fun all on its own, assuming there is something soft for you to land in.
Yeah, that's true. I kind of wanted to try that at one point, but I did not want to go face first into a car at the bottom of the hill in the car park.
Yeah, no,
No.
that does not constitute as something soft.
I mean...
A car is fairly solid.
Yeah, it depends if you hit the tire if it's deflated, but it's still hard. But that's probably arguably the softest part of a car.
Seats.
On the exterior.
Yeah.
I mean, if the passenger door was open...
Or the
maybe.
back doors, if it's
Maybe.
a four-door.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, it was...
I'm just thinking, because then you haven't got a center console and a steering wheel
that's
worry
true.
about.
That's true. But yeah, I realised terrible drivers. So, plus my chair was limited to 4 miles an hour, whereas others were going at 6.
Was yours an electric?
Yes. But it was limited because I had only had it for about a year. So it was you're not qualified enough or whatever.
You're not practiced enough to go quickly.
Yeah. So when it
can run.
And because it's at the top of a hill,
Yes.
it often bucketed it down with rain. So you're there climbing up a hill, trying to go about 100 meters up a hill and around. In the pouring rain, you're going, oh no, I've got
Please
to
keep
do
traction.
It's literally please, can I just stay here? I actually did that one lesson. It was meant to be PHSE or something or other.
Yeah.
The general kind of
your social studies kind of thing.
Yeah. It was one of those lessons. It was a Friday. It was just after lunch. It was the last lesson of the day. And I was literally I'm not going. It is absolutely... It was like a sheet.
Oh.
You could barely see a few meters. It was kind of in the sense of the rain was coming off your eyebrows like waterfalls.
Oh,
it was
God.
that heavy.
Yeah, no, fuck that.
So I was nope, I'm not going. The poor learning support work had to toddle down in the rain to find us. They came in like a drowned rat, and they were like, why aren't you there? And I was like, you've just walked through it.
Yeah. Look, if you turn around...
Yeah, so they kind of went, you know what, fair play, but you kind of got to come. And I was like, I'm not going. My chair only goes 3-4 miles an hour. Theirs goes nearer 8. So they were like, okay, I'll just say you're ill. And they went off. I was like, But yeah, and so I realised, I need to get out of my chair. Yeah. And I learned how to rewalk, which was fun. Because I liked the first attempt I did.
Yeah.
Because I kind of did this with no warning, and I had to sign a waiver afterwards, so my parents couldn't sue, basically. I decided in one of our drama lessons, in a warm-up, I decided, right, sod it. Put my brakes on my chair, moved my foot plates out, and stood up and fell straight on my face. I just did it one day, and that's kind of what kicked everybody into gear to suddenly helping me to walk. Yeah. So at first I was mentioning it, and I wasn't really getting anywhere. So I think something in my head, I don't really have a conscious memory of planning it. I just remember thinking in the moment, I'm doing this.
And doing it.
Yeah, because I didn't think it would give me any benefit. I thought I'd be like, wasn't that a bit silly? But then suddenly I had rehabilitation, I had physios, I had the team of the aqua people, aromatherapy. No, that smells.
Aquatherapist?
Basically, you're in a
hydrotherapy.
Hydrotherapy, yes. So I then had hydrotherapy, and I was just then within 6-7 months I was walking again.
Nice.
Because
Because you were too stubborn.
Yes.
The lesson there is if you want to get anywhere, first you have to fall flat on your face.
Well, yeah. Fall flat on your face and you get the help you need. I mean, it's kind of like the real world in some respects. You basically have to do something so outlandish to get noticed. Yeah. But even if you are screaming from the rooftops, you often get ignored, though, in the UK.
Yeah, but if you fall from the rooftop, they kind of have to take notice. Don't fall from high rooftops. Like dollhouse rooftops.
Will it support your weight?
Well, if you make a strong enough dollhouse.
Well, I mean, isn't the point?
No.
It doesn't matter if it does support your weight, does it?
Yeah, that's also true. The point is to fall on your face. If you fall through the dollhouse, there's just more injuries they've got to take
note of. If it can't
of.
support your weight, you'll just put your foot through and then you'll probably break your ankle or something.
Well, that's just another injury they're going to have to take notice of.
They'll just probably get on you silly idiot, patch you up and send you on your way again.
Maybe.
Yeah. You gotta love bureaucracy.
Yes, love is definitely the word.
Well, that's it, folks. The Maniacs have been put back in their cell for another fortnight when we release the next episode. Episodes will also be put on YouTube a week after their release on Spotify, just in case you want a repeat of this madness, for whatever reason. We also have other projects in the works too, so keep an eye out for those, and I'll let you know. Also, thank you to Wintergatan for giving us rights to use their song. You can find the links to those as well as our email in the description. And, hey, thank you to you for indulging these lunatics. We really do appreciate it.